May the words of my mouth and the meditation of our hearts be always acceptable in your sight, O Lord, our strength and our Redeemer. Amen. A book arrived at my house this week. I'm not quite sure who sent it to me. I have a few guesses. The title is She Persisted. It is the children's book written by Chelsea Clinton, talking about women who made a difference in American history. Women like Harriet Tubman and Helen Keller, Ruby Bridges and Sally Ride. The timing could not have been any better to be reading stories about women who fought for justice, who worked for what they believed was right, who faced great opposition and would not be deterred. A determined woman, a woman who believes that what she is working for is just, can be an incredible force. She persisted. I didn't realize that this was a biblical or a faithful stance. Today we hear about Jesus and this unnamed Canaanite woman. She seeks Jesus and asks for mercy. Her petition is met with silence. She is a woman. She is an outsider. She's not an Israelite. And her status makes it risky to even approach Jesus, much less request something of him. But this woman will not be deterred. She is determined to seek healing for her daughter. And she persists, perseveres, believes with utmost faith that God can and does have the capacity for unending mercy and love, enough to heal her daughter. And even when Jesus belittles her, places her in a position lower than the dogs, she still persists. Her persistence, her determination to continue the interaction with Jesus, her participation in the conversation, and her willingness to display her great faith, this is what makes all the difference. Jesus does not get it right. Jesus, who normally stands in the place of radical love, offering mercy and preaching justice, does not respond with the compassion we have come to expect. Maybe he's having an off day. Or maybe he's blinded by his status and he doesn't see how he is perpetuating injustice towards this woman. And yet he does not dismiss her as his disciples want him to. He continues to engage with her. And ultimately, Jesus' heart is turned by this woman's faith. God invites us into relationship. God desires to know us and for us to know God. That type of knowing requires engagement with one another. Painful as it is to hear this exchange between Jesus and the Canaanite woman, what this story shows us is the powerful effect that relationship has on us. Jesus' initial response is painful, not merciful. He is silent. He is dismissive. He is insulting. And she persists in petitioning, even as her deepest pain is being cast aside as nothing. This woman carries on, presenting her argument as to why he should intercede and relieve her daughter of the demon. She will not be cast aside. Yes. She is faithful and present. As Jesus and the Canaanite woman remain engaged with one another, great faith is confessed. A heart is transformed. A mind is changed, and merciful compassion prevails. God invites us into relationship, real relationship. This is not some mindless play. We are not merely filling some role. I will be your God, you will be my people. Follow these commandments and I will not smite you. No, God wants to know the fullness of who we are and wants us to know, as much as can be known, the fullness of who God is. Relationship is messy. Love is messy. And it requires a commitment to engagement, a commitment to showing up and trying to listen and understand again and again and again.
Amen.
Loving God and loving our neighbor, especially in our current context, requires all that we have. We cannot afford to just cut out engagement with a section of our neighbors just because we don't agree with them or what they have said. From the passage in Isaiah this morning, Isaiah proclaims, "Maintain justice and do what is right, for soon my salvation will come." This reminds me of another favorite passage of mine from Micah. What does the Lord require of you? But to do justice, love mercy, and walk humbly with your God. In the darkness of today's world, with the constantly shifting terrain, throwing us off our footing, these words from Isaiah serve to ground us. Words from a sacred text that we share with our Jewish brothers and sisters. As people of faith, we are called to pursue and proclaim justice, to love God and neighbor. This means that we must continue to engage with those who oppose us, to have those painful and difficult conversations, to sit in the silence together and work towards transformation.
Yes.
Transformation of us, transformation of whoever our other is, transformation of our society and world. We know that not a single one of us owns the whole truth. Not a single one of us has the full answer for how to heal what is broken, how to honor differences and move us forward. We are all fragments of a beautiful whole. And that beautiful whole is the beloved community of God, the beautiful creation that God dreamed and breathed into being. Jagged and broken as we are, we need one another for health and wholeness. A spiritual darkness has fallen over us. It is thick and heavy in the air. But there are beacons of light shining all around. Light reflected through the people who traveled to Charlottesville to proclaim love in the face of hate. Heather Heavey was one of those beacons. She persisted. She was faithful. She proclaimed love. There are many other beacons shining lights of justice and love into our world, like those upon whose shoulders we stand. Harriet Tubman, Susan B. Anthony, Mother Teresa, Miriam, sister of Moses, Hagar, Mary, mother of Jesus. The darkness may be heavy and thick, but we are stronger. We will not back down. Jagged as we are, we will persist in doing our part, in maintaining justice and doing what is right, so that the beautiful whole, the marvelous, beloved community of God is realized. Tomorrow we will experience a physical darkness cover our land. It will remain for only a few minutes and then gradually get lighter and lighter until just the memory remains. As you experience the physical darkness tomorrow, take note of the change back into the light. The light is what we seek. The light of justice, the light of compassion, the light of mercy and love is what we all seek for ourselves and for our neighbors and for all of humanity. We have got a lot of work to do in our own hearts and in our homes, in this community here and in our country. The path to mercy and justice requires that we remain engaged with one another. Persist in speaking justice. Persist in proclaiming love. Persist in acting with mercy. Persist in prayer. Let us all reflect the light of justice, the light of God's love out into our world. Persist, my friends.